introduction. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and it's nice to be here and for the first time. As you heard, that my presentation is in English. Unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish. My presentation is about a new anti-scalant that we developed in R&D, and we have tested in some customer sites, and I would like to share these results with you. The content of my presentation, as you see, is about first about giving the background about the silica skills and the approaches that is existing for the retarding the scaling, and then some information about the plant that we have tested the product, and then also about the pilot plant, and then results, and then at the end also the conclusions. But I would like to start actually with saying a few words about the Kemira. I guess that most of you already know the Kemiras. Kemira is also present in Spain, especially in the Tarragona. We have the production site in the Tarragona. But Kemira is a global company, and water is also is our business. So it's not only the municipal industrial. We also have activity also in the paper and oil and gas, and then in all these areas we are serving the customers, and especially for intensive where the water is consumed a lot. And in 2013 we had something around 5,000 employees, and then 2.2 billion was the turnover of the company. This I don't have the numbers from 2014, but these numbers is actually bigger now because we had some acquisition during this year. Silica scale, some background information, is I guess most of the people that work with the desalination don't know that they try to avoid the silica because when it forms, it's really difficult to be removed from the surface of the membrane. It happens when we have the high silica concentration in the water, and of course that with the membrane we always concentrated that water, so the problem is actually accelerated and speed up in the concentrate line. And when the silica scaling happens, so we see that the effect directly on the flux. So we have the 10 to 20% decline in the flux, and or maybe more. It depends on the case. And then, as I already said, that the silica scaling happens when that is exceeding the solubility limit. And of course, that the solubility limit is a function of the several parameters, including the temperature, pH, and then also the salinity of the water. If we have the low pH and high salinity water, and then low temperature, the solubility limit would be lower compared to the just the deionized water. And then we have if you look at these membrane manufacturers guidelines, they're saying that try to avoid it, not increase the concentration of the silica in the concentrate more than 150 ppm. Otherwise we will get the scaling, and we need to have some solution for prevent the scaling formation. So while saying that, let's see that what kind of the approaches we have for the dealing with the silica. Maybe I can summarize it in the three categories. The first category is that we adjust the condition in the way that we don't get any scaling. As I said that before also, that when we're running at the process at a high pH, so the silica solubility actually increase. And if we reduce, for example, the salinity of the water, or remove the divalence or the polyvalence ions from the water, we will have the higher solubility for the silica, and then we won't have the silica scaling. I guess that there is actually a process developed by the GE that is based on this first approach. The second approach is that we adjust the condition in the way that we can we let that silica not scales or not polymerize on the surfaces. So this approach is essentially based on using the anti-scalant or scale inhibitors. And the third approach, which is actually not well touched in the literatures, or there is a room for the improvement, is that we remove the silica already in the pre-treatment, but it's quite challenging because that usually the silica concentration in the feed water, for example from the groundwater or from the hot springs, they are around 20 ppm, and which are difficult to remove by the coagulants or the adsorptives. So we need to have some more sophisticated process for removing of the silica. So as I said that we have this approach, we use a second approach. We developed the anti-scalant that is actually able to retard the scaling, and also somehow inhibited the polymerization of the silica, and then dispersing also, and if there is a polymerization and then colloidal silica forms, also disperse that anti-scalant. So the product that was developed is that called is Kemgar PB20412. So it's a quite long term, but but it's also the performance is also as good as the length of the lane also. Okay, let's look at some information about the field trial. And we have tested this product in the one plant. The information about this water to the plant is shown here. So the STI of the water is very low, it's around the 3 ppm, which is actually very good for the membrane. But the silica concentration is around the 24. And then we have also very high concentration of the calcium and of course the carbonate. And there is also some amount of the iron and then some amount of the aluminum also in that water. Please consider that this is the feed water information. And the plant actually using the surface water and the spring water and the hot spring. So there is a mixture of those water, and this is the water that is actually fed to the RO processes. In that plant, there are several stages before the RO, including the coagulation, filtration, sand filtrations, and then cartridge filter, and then at the end also RO membrane. And RO has 3 stages, and the concentration from the first stage goes to second and then the third. So by having the 3 stages, so the plant was able to recover to go with a quite high recovery value, around the 90%. So assuming that if this feed is, if we have this water with the 24 ppm of the silica, so we're easily exceeding the solubility limit in the concentrate of the last stage. So we should expect that to get some silica scaling in the last stage of the RO. So we tested the product in the pilot. And this pilot actually is a 1 cubic meter per hour. So we have the 8-inch membrane, the same membrane type that they have used in the full-scale plant. The water to this plant actually is coming from the second stage, so it's already concentrated. So and then and then it's concentrated again in this plant, in this pilot plant. So actually we are simulating the worst conditions here. Okay, so we have been running this testing, product testing for about 40 days, and we had 2 targets. First, to test that which would be the best anti-scalant dosage. So we started with a higher dosage, and then we reduced it gradually, and then to find out what would be the minimum inhibition scaling. And then also after that we took out the membrane and we done the autopsy in Kemira Oyj in Espoo in Finland. So I would like to share some results here. So we look at the normalized data. So the equipment we were able to collect the data from the permeate flux, the permeate flow, permeate conductivity, and the same for the concentrate at feed. And we done this normalization. And the normalization is in the first part of the trial is presented here. So the flow based on the cubic meter per hour, normalized flow also is presented here. So we have something around 0.8, and it was running over about 1 month. And during the 1 month, you can see that actually we don't have that significant differences in the permeate flux. And if we look at the differential pressure, which is actually more sensitive compared to the the permeate flux, you see that the differential pressure is always was around 0.2 bar. And then the salt passage, we have some peaks here, which is actually because of some changes in the conditions of the plant. But the overall salt concentration, salt passage was around 2%. And if you look at the silica concentration, we have the silica concentration in feed and then also in the concentrate. So we see that actually in the feed, we had sometimes around the 20, and sometimes we had higher than 20, around the 25. But in the concentrate, actually, it's also increased from 180 to something around the 250 ppm. So we are quite above the solubility limit of the silica. So, but oh, okay. So then after that, we done the autopsy. We took the membrane out. We done autopsy through the different analysis. We look at the SM, FTIR, and then XRD, and we try to actually to see that. Remember that I said that we reduce the dosage at the last stage to below the minimum inhibition scaling and minimum inhibition concentration. And then we try to see that if we are running also the system at this minimum also, do we get any silica scaling or no? So we done this autopsy and we realized actually there is no actually silica scaling on the membrane. So we look at first with the same picture. We took the membrane under the same. We collect also the deposit from the surface of the membrane and we analyze it with the XRD and XRF. So the first results of this ADX also showing here. So we have seen with the same some particles on the surface. We try to look at those also with the ADX to try to identify. So we identify those particles as like a calcium carbonate, not as a silica. So as you see that the concentration of the silica is very low. So it's showing that actually we don't have any silica as such on the membrane surface. We done also the further analysis. So we look at it with the XRF through the scales also. We identify that actually the calcium is the one which is actually most seen on that scale that was collected from the membrane surface. So there is very little amount of the silica on the surfaces. And then also XRD also we have done XRD also and in XRD we were not able to detect any quartz or quartz formation on the deposit collected from the membrane, and we only see the calcium carbonate. So these are proving actually that we don't have the silica in amorphous or in the crystalline form on the membrane surface, and mostly is the calcium carbonate. So something about this product based on these results that we achieved from this pilot trial. So we approach other customers, especially in Morocco and also in Spain, in the Canary Islands. In Morocco, this is used for the water treatment, and it has been running for a few months, and then the customer was happy with the performance. And in the Canary Islands, this is used for the irrigation purposes, where we have actually high amount of the silica in the water, and that plant also is smaller, is around 100 to 400 cubic meter per day. So in Morocco, just sharing this one with you, that we were managed actually to reduce the dosage by 20%. So our product was performing better than the product that used previously by the customer. And during these few months, we have not seen any difficulty with the flux or the salt concentration. As a very short conclusion here, that we have this about the silicon concentration was from 50 to 25. We have very high recovery value, and in this high recovery value we exceeding the solubility limit of the silica, but we managed to actually, by using this anti-sclam, prevent scaling formation. And this scaling formation has been tested also in the other plants. So as I said, that in Morocco and also in Spain, and we are planning actually to use this product also further also for places that is discharging the concentrate water to quite far away from the plant. so to prevent the scaling in the pipelines. So just the last word, and so that sorry that for I had to rush for the last few slides, but if you have the questions, please feel free to contact me, and or if you feel free to talk in Spanish. My colleague Giuseppe Fiorenza also is here, and he's speaking in Spanish. So thank you for your attention.